Hey everyone, it's LS, and I'm back with Nemesis because we have the first real patch that we've had in quite a while that actually has some sort of substance to it, and we're going to go into it, How you feeling?
Feeling great. Excited for the changes.
Yeah, the changes.
As usual.
Yeah, as usual, yeah. Okay, so in this patch, Dr. Mundo, the Madman of Zaun, he's finally here. We did a review on him about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I ended up realizing after we did the review what his passive ended up being. So it's like Kale had a child is the way to talk about it.
And as all new champions or reworks are, they're gonna be OP because that's how Riot makes them. So enjoy the free Illaoi, I guess, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the Mundo's W, I mean his cleaver, his passive is just absolutely insane, especially because right now the way that the most popular champions inside of the meta are all CC centric generally. There's very little team compositions that end up existing that basically have no CC, and now the fact that Mundo is like this scaling monstrosity against CC reliant or dependent champions, but also the way that his passive actually works, if you look it up, you end up healing him if you try to CC him. That is a really weird interaction, and unless you're able to also be a melee champion and stay on top of him. Mundo just looks like he's probably going to be an amazing champion out the gate. And depending on what his ratios end up debuting as, we know what they're currently listed as on the PBE, could mean that Mundo's also a multi-flex.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Aphelios AKA Mr. Years. If you guys saw some of the scrims versus T1 Academy, you'll know that Mr. Years is, I think, doing more than well enough. But base stats, he's going to end up getting a buff. And what I like about this is Riot didn't go with the nerfs that they actually were going to do to the Chakram. So his base stats, he's getting MR back, which is interesting because I'm a big fan of flexing him mid and top lane situationally. 80 growth, he gets a longsword at 18, and now Severum, the scythe pistol, maximum number of attacks. It's just going to be changed. They're just adjusting some of his Q stuff, and the healing. Crescendum, the Chakram, he just actually gets more damage on his sentry.
Yeah. So I think the base stats are probably a bigger buff than the actual ability buffs.
Yep.
I mean, it's nice that they buff the red Q and the turret, right? But I don't think that does that much. What you have to consider is that he gets 80 growth per level now, bigger. So I think Aphelios is just bigger buff for solo lane than for actually bot lane ADC.
Yeah.
Magic resist, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not a fan of going into that direction. I feel like he should be weak to magic resist, magic damage. So I feel like putting it low and then buffing other things, that's how I would do it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's weird to see him be given his magic resist because that was one of the interesting dynamics in bot lane that you could try to do to him is pick mages against him, and it was a pretty interesting thing. But now seeing it, like you already mentioned, these are bigger buffs, I think, for solo lane Aphelios than they are for AD carry Aphelios, so make of that what you will. Draven, another champion.
Yeah, I guess they're just buffing our Scream champions.
Q bonus damage increase. So Spinning Axe is just getting a flat 5 damage added to it, and then it's getting a flat 5% bonus AD. Draven gets a lot of bonus AD. So this will end up equating to probably several hundred damage in mid and late game team fights against Draven. It's just it's just out there. It's really random.
Yeah, the way you have to think about this buff is just imagine if you buff an ability like Karthus Q. Karthus Q is like he spams it the entire game. And this isn't
even his ability. This is his auto.
Yeah,
this is his auto attack. Yeah.
And like base AD buffs on auto attack champions are huge, and this is basically a base AD buff on auto attacks. So just enormous buff.
Doesn't make any sense. This is equipped. So when a champion like Aphelios gets 80 growth per level, this is basically like Draven gets 80 growth per level because it's his auto.
Yeah.
All right, Gnar, base attack damage decrease. It's going down by 2. I talk about this in other patch notes. You probably heard me talk about this. Changes like this, I'm waiting on a lot more holistic compiling of data to talk about changes like this. Because this is something that Riot has done before. And ultimately what I imagine that this maybe does is like how many lanes is there where someone lives with one auto, right? They get away from a solo kill. And what does a solo kill mean for converting into an advantage? And I think that that's the way that these buffs and these changes have to really be looked at. It's not like Gnar doesn't build Trinity Force, so it's not like it's a nerf to Trinity Force or anything.
Yeah.
It's just out there. I don't really care about it. I feel like they're just doing it to appease people.
It's like a comparative small nerf, right? Gnar has a lot
Yeah.
of peak rate. The thing is, like 280 nerfs, they're pretty big early and mid game, but then late game they don't actually matter because Gnar builds too much AD, or like it doesn't matter over long periods of time.
Yep.
But 280 nerf, honestly, it's not too bad. Like you could see, like the nerf definitely felt big on like Tristana, for example, or Jean in the past, I think. So this is like just an okay nerf.
Yeah, it's definitely something. Hecarim, base armor increased, Q damage ratio increased, base stats 32 to 35, so he's getting 3 armor. So I mean that's something. He'll have more sustain in the jungle, more like I mean he doesn't even need it with the changes that they did to smite and everything else.
Yeah.
Q rampage is gonna go up, however, by 10% bonus AD. So over the course of the last couple of patches, Riot is just continuing to try to funnel him into this glass cannon AD one-shot machine.
Yeah, which I like more, to be honest. I hated the tank version.
Yep.
It felt very unskilled and uninteractive.
Yes.
The thing is, he's been getting a lot of buffs and indirectly also with Divine Sunder. So honestly, maybe they're overdoing it at this point. His E and W, I think, are still nerfed, but his Q is like kind of a back in the shape now. Yeah,
I completely agree. I mean, Hecarim, if they keep this up with the way that AD junglers are kind of lacking in the jungle. I mean, we have Xin Zhao coming back, but Xin builds Sunfire, so he's mixed.
Yeah.
It does create more diversity. I don't think that anything like this is going to be a big change for like solo lane Hecarim. All right, Karen.
Who did you pay, huh?
Who did I pay? I don't know.
Yeah.
So the base stats here, she gets 10 mana per level. So the way that you look at this so generally Karen or Illaoi, she'll generally recall on wave 3 or 4 in most matchups. If you're playing her in top or in mid lane. So on wave 3 or 4, it means that you get 1 extra W. But post recall, it ends up probably equating to about 3 or 4 Ws because of how long you'll play out the laning phase, which is actually a pretty big deal because Illaoi does have like mana constraints and it does feel a little bit awkward. But this is actually, I think this is a really underappreciated buff. And now with the Divine Sunderer buff that they ended up doing, Illaoi has gotten a lot of actual help in the last couple of patches.
Yeah, these type of buffs are usually like underlooked, like HP regen, mana regen, mana growth and stuff. She does have mana issues, especially because Presence of Mind got hard gutted and it's not the same rune as it used to be. I would personally I like attack speed buff on her and I like mana buff, so I'm happy they did at least one of those two.
Yep. Jarvan, W cooldown decreased. W Golden Aegis 12 to 9 doesn't matter. He's casting it once in a team fight. It's not changing. Yeah,
this is his most irrelevant ability. It might also be one of the worst abilities in the game, to be honest. So yeah, nice try.
So the thing about Riot, whenever they target an ability that isn't the defining ability of the champion, it usually doesn't matter. So, and this is just another example of that. This ability doesn't matter. It's still it's going to be a one cast inside of a team fight. If you're playing him support or jungle, usually he's starved for gold. You're not really playing him in mid and top lane, even if he could go there. And so he's never getting ability haste. He's never going to cast this twice in a team fight. Doesn't matter if 3 seconds was shit. Well, he might cast it twice in a team fight,
but the ability is not.
But the ability isn't very good.
Yeah.
Okay, Kai'Sa, Q cooldown increased early. So Icathian Rain's just going to go up early. I mean, her laning phase, I don't think, was ever one of her strong suits. So I don't really...
pro players might disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. But again, I feel like this... All right, Kai'Sa's... We've talked ad nauseum about Kai'Sa on both of our streams and on co-streams and other stuff about the view on Kai'Sa and whatnot. She is pretty weird in the sense that I feel like if Riot is doing this kind of a nerf, I feel like it also means that Riot actually also thinks that she's not strong. Because this is not a nerf that I think Riot would do if they're going to try to kneecap a champion.
Riot sometimes nerf champions just because they're overplayed, not because they think they're strong.
Yep. And I think this is actually... I think that's what this is.
Yeah, I mean, the nerf isn't that big. I think it's not going to, make pro players not play Kai'Sa. I mean, they're just going to have to get used to it a bit, right? Less Qs, maybe off cooldown, and that's about it.
Yeah. That's
rank 5, same ability.
Yep. Okay, Malphite. Our scrims are just getting buffed. I mean, that's all there is to it, Malphite Senna. I mean, this is Malphite top, whatever. W on hit damage increased. This is big for literally all of Malphite's roles. Even if you take him jungle, which is now actually much weaker than it used to be because of the XP changes and whatnot, so he doesn't hit 6 as easily, as well as the Scuttle Crab stuff. But W Thunderclap just gets Now, W Thunderclap, it's an ability that you max last unless you're against all AD. In which case you do end up maxing. You can max it early in some variations. So gets 5 flat and then 5% of his total armor. Malphite gets a lot of armor.
Yeah.
This is a lot of damage just being slapped onto him for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it pretty much buffs everything. I was thinking like maybe it buffs PTA Malphite a bit more, but maybe people won't play PTA Malphite because Presence of Mind is also way worse rune now, and it's like less worth to go into that tree. Like bigger buff in obviously melee matchups in early game because he can proc it more often, but yeah, just like a nice buff, I guess.
It's definitely it's some there. Now, okay, let's talk about the big one. All right, so the abilities here are whited out. You guys already know that sometimes the website has some stuff go wrong with it when we get the text of the patch notes. But anyways, Rammus, W base bonus, armor increase, and R cooldown decreased. I think Rammus is viable. I know that I even called for him in some of the scrims, but we didn't end up picking him. Defensive ball curl bonus armor goes up by a 10 flat. I mean, it's something, right? And then soaring slam, the cooldown is lowered. I like this because generally Rammus takes Predator when he goes for his Sin play style or just to actually like exert things. And I feel like this lines up with it a lot better now.
I mean, I think the ult cooldown buff is probably bigger than the W buff, but honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I hate Rammus. I think his like mini rework still like, I don't know, it doesn't fix the champion.
Well, he was nerfed because of Bramble.
Yeah, but I would like him to just get a rework, honestly.
He did just get a rework.
But that doesn't feel like a rework. I want his Q, W, E, and passive reworked, and then we'll call it.
Nasus.
Yeah, I think they nerfed this one because of you.
You know? No, I was actually really nervous when I saw that he was on the list by Mark. Wait, what is it? Yetter Jungler wins, right?
Is it?
That's his Mark Yetter Jungler wins. Passive Soul Eater. So this is actually only happening because of Divine Sunder.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just meant to counteract it.
Yeah, but the Divine Sunder buff is bigger than the passive nerf, so it doesn't matter really.
Right. So if you guys don't know, we played Nasus support in scrims, and we won with it twice. And I think we lost with it twice too. But the interesting thing is the 1000 LP Korean Challenger ADC who plays in the scrims, or he's almost 1K, he's like 900 or something.
Yeah.
He ended up, so initially when we actually played Nasus support, he was like asking what the hell are we doing and all this other stuff. Now he's actually a pretty big Nasus support fan, and he even plays it with, if he runs into one of his friends in Korean solo queue, they actually played it in Challenger. So Nasus support with no Q upgrade, EW, 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 and you just keep that cycle going. You go Comet, you do it with a poke AD carry like Varus or something, or a bully AD carry like Draven. It can be really oppressive if the opponents have champions that are dependent on mobility and attack speed, because his W is the core defining thing. But then with lethality champions being so strong and just AD champions in general, Nasus's E reducing 45% armor. It's pretty broken. So Nasus's best role is probably unironically support, and this doesn't do anything to it.
I agree. Balance stability.
Yeah.
W&E.
All right, now talking about, we can't leave out his brother here.
Oh,
okay,
God.
Renekton.
Here we go.
You take this one away.
Yeah, non-champion healing going down from 3 to 7 to 2 to 8. And then the bonus AD also gets lowered by 1%. And then the empowered healing goes from 9 to 21 to 6 to 18. And the bonus AD also by 3% down. I mean, it just nerfs his lane sustain and like the Qs that he does. This is just more of a laning nerf. Like I think in mid game and late game, Nasus is actually not healing anything from this ability anyway. Kind of like irrelevant mostly. So yeah, whatever. I personally do like the non-champion healing nerf, but I don't like that the empowered healing got nerfed. I feel like the empowered healing should be like what defines this ability's healing.
Because sometimes you don't even use empowered on this. So it's usually very situational.
You should make a decision if you want to use W or Q more, and this like kind of kills it. So
the big question, if these nerfs were here, would we have seen 0-9 maybe out of Cloud9?
Yeah.
Do you think 0-7 maybe wasn't enough? I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, this is probably a perks buff.
There you go. Talon, W initial damage decreased, return damage increased. So I like this.
I like this a lot.
Talon is I mean, actually, I don't know if I can say that word without it being beeped out. But Talon's W ability, it's stupid. The hitbox is not accurate.
Yeah.
It's really not accurate. You can't tell if you're being hit.
Yeah.
And it's just I mean, okay, people are complaining about Aphelios having 2 abilities. I learned the other day that he only has 2 abilities.
Yeah, he technically only has 2.
I was watching Lemon, and I was saying, shouldn't Talon E? But apparently E's not even an active. And I didn't even, I had no idea on that. It was my first time having a first-person view of Talon. And I was just so surprised. This champion plays with 2 abilities. And it plays with broken hitboxes.
Yeah. I think Talon, like, he's so toxic in a way because he doesn't require much skill. The Q is not a skill shot. The W is technically not a skill shot. His ult is point and click. I mean, he does have skill, but it's like weird skill, you know? It's like, I don't know how to describe it.
He is the simplest, most toxic assassin in solo queue.
Yes.
Zed takes a lot of skill.
Kiana does more as
Kiana
well.
takes there is a lot of stuff you can do with Kiana.
Yeah.
Talon is the Annie of assassins.
Yeah, kind of. I agree with that. That's a good description. But the reason why I do like this change is, however, is it like benefits good Talon players and like punishes bad Talon players.
Yep.
But someone told me on stream that this is a nerf even if you hit both Ws. That's what someone told me. So
I mean, how?
That's what someone told me, but I don't know. Maybe they changed it. I don't know. Once again, check freaks, you know.
Check. I mean, yeah, you can definitely check for. So you get 10%. So they it is still a nerf. Yeah, I mean you can check freaks for sure. So he loses 15% on the normal one, and he only gets 10% back. And then here, yeah, I mean, yeah, the damage isn't a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
He's just losing damage.
Yeah, I don't know why they would do that. You know.
Good.
Okay, it's fine.
Good.
Yeah, someone lost a Talon in solo queue, guys.
Good.
Yeah.
Udyr, Arcone damage decreased. Phoenix stance 60 to 310 plus 70% AP to 50 to 275 plus 80% AP. So you can't counteract this even with a Dark Seal being fully stacked, I don't think. You can't, yeah. You can't do it now without going AP Udyr. But AP Udyr now hits harder. But I don't think you're going to AP.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think there's a good chance this kills Udyr from pro play.
Yeah.
This type of nerf.
Yeah.
It's big enough, I think.
I think it matters on how it affects his clear, but these are pretty big numbers. Now, generally, the AP thing doesn't really matter for Udyr, but it is going to, I mean, it sucks.
I feel like Udyr's been like on decline as well because people have learned better how to play against it and, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The longer he's in the game, the worse he becomes.
Yep, completely agree. Okay, so Varus. W maximum bonus damage decreased. Varus buffing 11.4 on his W made his lethality builds especially powerful, so we're pulling back accordingly. So the thing about Varus that makes him so strong is he's sort of like 3 champions in one.
Yeah.
He's a lethality poke mage, sort of, caster. He's an attack speed, crit, on hit, 80 carry, or he's an AP.
Yeah.
Nuker. So it's really weird. He's 3 champions. Whenever a champion is like this, whenever there are multiple champions in one, they become really hard to balance. And I can understand that. Blighted Quiver, so the thing here is that does he still kill you in the same number of arrows? And if the answer is yes, then it doesn't do anything.
I agree. I mean, I also do like that they went for this nerf because, like, what the hell is this ability? What does it... I feel like the active is so random. It just randomly slapped into Champion's Kit for no reason.
Yeah,
like,
it was just randomly added in to give him a lot of damage. And, yeah, I totally agree. But I think Varus is still going to be fine. Also, like, early on, it doesn't do anything. 1% missing health base, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing, especially at early base levels. So, Wukong, base damage growth decreased, Q damage ratio decreased, base stats. His attack damage growth is down by 1.5. He actually is losing, or no, it's down by 0.5, sorry.
Yeah. So,
he's losing a longsword at max level, which is kind of big. Q crushing blow, 50% bonus AD to 45% bonus AD. So, the reason that these are coming in, Divine Sunder.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
It's just balanced. He's just balanced out. He has more sustain now. He's still dealing the same damage. Actually, he's probably still dealing more.
He's probably still buffed.
He's probably still buffed, yeah.
He's
because
for
of Divine.
sure still buffed. I mean, that's fine. I don't like Wukong that much, sorry. I think he's a bit unskilled champion. Not that, not the biggest fan.
Okay. Ziggs, Q base damage increased later. R missile speed increased. Q bouncing bomb. So 85 to 265. And then 85 to 285. So he ends up getting 20 on his Q.
We're playing Ziggs and Screams.
Yeah, I know we are. AD and mid. And our Mega Inferno Bomb, the missile speed is up actually by quite a bit. That is pretty big.
I am such a huge fan of this champion. Honestly, I'm so happy they're buffing him. I mean, I like base damage buffs. I would like maybe AP ratio or movement speed buff though.
Why? We don't get AP anyway.
I mean,
What do you mean?
Yeah, good point. The biggest problem I have with Ziggs is that you're playing with 325 movement speed. It feels so slow.
My favorite quote from the LCS coach stream, I think yesterday, I don't think you were here. Someone in my chat said, does so-and-so really have 90 AP at 25 minutes?
Yeah. That's crazy. I think that our Mega Inferno Bomb buff, people are gonna sleep on this. They're not gonna be used to it. Like some people are gonna think, oh, it's not gonna hit me, and then it's gonna hit you, and it's gonna nuke.
Yeah.
I definitely am a huge fan of Ziggs in general. I think the champ's amazing. So, yeah, happy me.
Okay. So that was it for all of
Any
the changes.
Bug fixes? Any Viego bug fixes, guys? No.
No.
We'll wait for next patch. That's totally fine.
All right, and then we got the upcoming skins and chromas. We'll take a look at that right before we just recap. Does it change anything in competitive? So Mundo will be in competitive.
Eventually.
I don't know when he's going to be enabled or when he's going to be allowed. Generally, reworks are allowed right out the gate.
Yeah,
they did that with
fast, yeah.
They did that with Akali. They did it with Aatrox.
Yeah.
Generally, reworks are allowed right out the gate. So if that's the case, Mundo's coming to LCS, LEC, LCK, LPL.
He's a
really,
perfect
really
LCS
fast.
champion, no?
He's huge there, of course. They still pick Nautilus and Leona and Thresh and all these other things, you know? Aphelios, it is a competitive buff, but I don't think we'll see it the way that it could be because no one's going to play mid or top Aphelios.
I 100% agree. I think this is a buff that should not be taken lightly, but it will be because
no one can play
Can't play Aphelios, especially in solo lane.
Yep.
Unlucky. Go next.
Draven, another buff because Draven can be played mid, top, and AD carry. No one will play him mid or top.
Same story as Aphelios.
Same thing. It's the same exact thing as Aphelios. So while they are really, really big buffs, the extent of the buff is not big enough because pro players will not play them in mid or top. Gnar, it does. I feel like it does more for solo queue than it does for competitive because solo queues are more likely to happen. Or solo kills in solo queue are more likely.
Yeah, it's really whatever, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Hecarim, really big, I think, for solo queue because you curve into your items way faster due to the higher kill counts, which means that you get added effect from the item. So it's more of a solo queue than a competitive buff. Illaoi, huge for both, but she's never going to be played.
I think
we're going to play her.
Irrelevant for both because even in solo queue, the only players who can play Illaoi are maybe specific one trick. So this is just irrelevant, I think.
I feel attacked. Like I don't know.
I did not count you.
All right, Jarvan doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Kai'Sa, way more impactful, I think, in solo queue than competitive. Competitive Kaisers are just going to play around it, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Malphite, huge for solo queue. I don't think it does anything for competitive. I mean, it's minor for competitive.
I think it's not huge for solo queue. I would say it's like okay-ish. Maybe.
For the Malphite players.
Maybe.
Rammus, massive for solo queue because the Rammus one tricks. Now it lines up with Predator.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
Rammus just hacks win rate. That's how I feel about the champion.
Nasus doesn't do anything for either. It's just a balance thing. Again, Nasus's best role is in support with Comet and without any points in Q.
Yeah.
Renekton, Q, non-champion, really big for solo queue.
I think it's big for solo queue.
And for competitive.
Yeah,
I guess.
I would say so. I mean, I expect not to see Renekton, but then again, maybe...
we shouldn't be... Yeah, it's fine. You're wrong. Tisk. Talon and Udyr changes. Udyr, massive for competitive. Talon, not even picked in competitive. Huge for solo queue.
I agree. This is huge nerf.
Yeah. Varus. I don't think it does anything. Like realistically, I don't think
slight nerf for solo queue, slight nerf for competitive, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Wukong doesn't do anything. Pretty much. I mean, he's just adjusted. That's it.
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything. He's just adjusted. Ziggs, massive for both. It is really big for both.
Yeah, especially in skilled level players, I think. Yeah.
But he's really, really hard. We're probably not going to see him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's too hard for mid laners.
He's really hard.
And then Ziggs demands that you play around him and play in a certain way.
Even if you're really good at Ziggs, but your teammates can't play with Ziggs, he's not a good champion.
Yep.
Same with Xerath.
Yep. And you have to know the spots to pick him. All right, now let's get to the most important part here. We got the pool party skin. Now, I understand what you're thinking. Right? I understand.
Ooh.
I understand. You're about to switch to men only on Tinder. But it is Pride Month. So it makes sense why we got this going on here.
Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of pool party skins. It's not
I'm
like
not
my
either.
vibe.
I hate them.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't.
But I do think that the set looks better than the brown. Because I don't know what they're thinking, like doing a brown pool party. What is brown? Like he's just like a big muscle. That's it. You know, it's like a rock or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you guys heard it here first. He's not into facial here. But for some reason he likes cat ears. So it's
Okay, fine. You got me.
Now, how about this from a different angle? You should know all about this.
I do like the drinks, and I do like the lemon there on the left.
Oh, nice. Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe you had a bad breakup, and that's why you don't like prom.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Nice.
I'm not so sure. My lord. All right, Lemon. Well, we did
I
not
wonder what
need
drink
to...
he's drinking. Honestly, I would like to have the same one. You know.
Yes, I'm sure that you would. Well, seems like everyone's getting a little piece of the lemon here.
Yeah.
If I do see it.
Nice.
All right, now we got the chromas. So welcome to RuPaul's Drag Race.
Ooh. This does look better in game than I expected. Honestly,
Okay.
I like some of them. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The
And then-
hairstyle.
yeah.
No, not the hairstyle.
Honestly, this to me looks like Dr. Eggman from Sonic just started getting ripped, okay? He probably ended up taking some Blood Rush from Tyler 1, discount code alpha, and he just started getting ripped, you know, after he saw the Tyler 1 T1 power meet. I think he immediately went into that, and now here's Dr. Eggman. Now on the other side of the equation here,
Okay.
we got, again, RuPaul's Drag Race. By the way, for people that do not realize, I'm LGBT, okay? We're not making or poking fun at anything. But what do you think? Who do you think would take the competition?
Okay. So the first thing I think about is that, like, how do you say it? Sad did a lot of tanning.
He did. He definitely did.
Yeah. That's the
All
only
right.
thing I think about.
Excellent. Well, I think this guy probably won the competition right here.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
I love
agree.
the colors. I love everything. Also, he's raising his hand like he's...
Yeah, I don't know why he's the only one raising his hands.
Oh, because he's the only one paid to be there.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, it
Fine.
makes sense, you know? So,
Fine.
honestly, fabulous. All right, well, that is it for the 11-12 notes rundown. I'm looking forward to 11-13 or 14 or maybe 15. I don't know, because the Yordle's supposed to come this summer, right? On the roadmap.
Can't wait.
The Yordle's the most important thing. It was supposed to be an artillery mage,
It's
I believe.
gonna be Timo's brother, right?
That's some mage, so,
Okay.
you know, you get to play it. You excited?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Wonderful.
every new champion goes to mid lane, guys. That's
Just
how it
kidding, you're a
works.
two-trick. Who are you kidding?
Okay.
Anyways, that's going to be it for the patch notes, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. See ya.
Hi, everyone. It's LS.